Hi everyone, my name is Deepak Punia. I am Computer Science faculty at ACE Engineering Academy. In these lectures, we will solve C programming questions of GATE 2021 exam. C programming is very important from GATE exam point of view. Okay, in this lecture, we will solve all those questions that have come in GATE 2021 exam from this chapter. Okay, let's start. Let's solve this question. This is a GATE 2021 set 1 question. Okay, he is saying consider the following ANSI C program. So a C program is given to us, okay, and in this program basically he is asking, the options are like this: which of the following options is correct? The program will not compile successfully, or the other three options are saying that it will compile successfully, but what will be the output? So let's see this question. Okay, in this program, if you read, there is no problem with compilation. There is no problem here. We have hash include stdio.h, int man. Okay, so everything is perfect. Int I, j, count. So we have three variables. Okay, three local variables we have. You can see. Okay, so you can see three local variables we have, and they are of integer type. Then we are assigning this value 0 to this variable count. Okay, then we are assigning this value 0 to variable I. Then we have a for loop. In this for loop, this value, this j variable, this is going from -3 to 3. Okay, so everything perfect so far. There is no compilation error here. Okay, you can see when this is the body of for loop. Okay, so this is the body of for loop. In this, you can see if j is greater than or equal to 0, this is your logical AND operation. Logical AND operation. Okay, I plus plus, this is your increment. Okay, so this is your post incrementation. Next, so this is your post incrementation. Next, count is equal to, we are assigning the value of count plus j. Okay, next, finally count, we are assigning the value count plus I to the variable count, and finally we are print of this value count, and then we return 0. So everything is perfect with this program. There is no reason for compilation error. So this program will compile successfully. Now we need to see what will be the output. Okay, so what will be the output, that we need to see. Let me do. So let me run this program. In this program, before we run this program, let me tell you few things. What is this expression? Okay, how to evaluate this expression? So this is known as short circuit evaluation. Okay, this is known as short, there is a concept called short circuit evaluation. So this concept we need to see. What is this short circuit evaluation? Okay, evaluation. Next, in this short circuit evaluation, what we do basically, it's like this. Very simple logic. It's like this. Let's assume you have this type of expression. Let's assume that some condition you have P and then some condition Q, and this is logical OR. So in case of logical OR, okay, what is this? This is basically logical OR. So let me write down that. Okay, let me write what in case of logical OR. In case of logical OR, what will happen? So if you have a condition P or condition Q, then in case of logical OR, if this P is true, let's assume this P is true. Okay, if P is true, then there is no need, because see, if P is true, then automatically this complete expression becomes true. This expression, this will become true. So if P is true, then there is no need to evaluate Q. So if P is true, then Q is not evaluated. Then Q is not evaluated. Okay, Q is not evaluated. Okay, this Q is evaluated only if P is false. Okay, because see, the reason is very simple. If P is true, then the complete expression will become true. Okay, so that is the reason Q is not evaluated. This Q is evaluated only if P is false. Okay, so I can say that, I can also say that this Q is evaluated only if P is false. I can say Q is evaluated only if P is false, only if P is false. So these are the points. Okay, so this is a point and this is another point. So these 2 points we have. Okay, you can see. So this is the case of logical OR. Now what will happen in case of logical AND? So let's see, in case of logical AND what will happen, let's see. So in case of logical AND, now second we will see logical AND. In case of logical AND, it is like this. If you have some condition P and some condition Q, okay, some condition P, this is logical AND, not dollar. Okay, this is logical AND. Okay, now condition P and condition Q, then if P is false, then the complete expression will become false. Clear? If P is false, then the complete expression will become false. So if P is false, then the complete expression will become false. This expression will become false. So this Q is not evaluated. There is no need to evaluate Q. So Q is not evaluated. Okay, so Q is not evaluated. Okay, similarly you can say Q is evaluated only if P is true. Okay, so this same point you can call it like this. You can also write it like this. This same point I can write like this. Q is evaluated. Q is evaluated only if P is true. Only if P is true. So this is your behavior. Okay, in case of logical AND, in case of logical OR. C programming, the C language follows this short circuit behavior of logical operations. Okay, logical AND, logical OR. For these operations, C language follows this short circuit evaluation. This is called short circuit. Why short circuit? Because if P is false, then automatically complete expression will become false. So there is no need to evaluate Q. There is no need to evaluate Q. Okay, so that is the reason. Now let's come back to our question. So here you can see, if this condition, there is logical AND here. It means if this condition becomes false, then we will not evaluate this condition. We will not evaluate this condition. Okay, this condition will be evaluated only if this condition becomes true. Okay, so that is the main motive, you can say, that is the main catch of this problem. Okay, this program has this main catch. Now let's solve this question. Now this is very simple. So you have 3 variables, I, J, count. 3 variables we have. So we have in this program, basically we have variable I, okay, we have variable J, and we have a variable count. So 3 variables we have here. Next, what he is saying, so count has value 0, I has value 0, and then this for loop is running from j equal to -3 to j equal to 3. So we have value 0 here, we have value 0 here, and this j, this is running starting from -3. Okay, so this is starting from -3 and it is incrementing at every iteration. Okay, in every iteration it is incrementing by +1. Now you can see, initially j equal to -3, j equal to -3. So now j equal to -3, this condition is true, right? Initially j equal to -3, so this condition is true. -3 is less than equal to 3, so this condition is true. So this this body of for loop, this will execute. So I can call it body basically. Okay, this is body of for loop, for body. Okay, Now, so this body will execute. Now you can see minus 3 is not greater than 0. So this is false, right? Because minus 3 is not greater than or equal to 0. So that is the reason this becomes false. And short circuit behavior of C program, C language, that says that if this condition becomes false, then this will not be evaluated. Okay, so this will not be evaluated. Now what we do, count equal to, in this variable count, we assign count plus j. Okay, actually because this condition becomes false, so the complete expression becomes false. So this if condition becomes false, okay, so this will not be executed, because if condition, the condition of if, that is becoming false, so this line, this expression will not execute. So what will happen? Now j plus plus. Now what will happen? J plus plus. So you can see from this minus 3, now j will increment. Okay, now this minus 3, this will become minus 2, j plus plus. So it will become minus 2. Now for minus 2, again what will happen? This condition will become false, because minus 2 is not greater than equal to 0. So this condition is becoming false. So short circuit behavior of C language says that this expression will not be evaluated. So this complete expression is becoming false. So this expression, this statement also does not execute. Again j plus plus. Now the value of j will become minus 1. Again for minus 1, this condition will become false. Okay, so again the same scenario will happen. Now what will happen? This statement will not execute. Now the value of j will become 0. Now you can see, okay, so the value, first it became minus 1, then it became 0. Now the value of j is 0. When the value of j is 0, this condition is true. 0 is less than equal to 3. So this condition is true. So this body of for loop, it will execute. Now you can see that value of j is 0. 0 is greater than equal to 0. That is true. So now it is true. You can see now it is true. Because this is true, so now this I plus plus, this will execute. This will execute. But remember, this is post increment operator. This is I plus plus. This is post increment. So what it means? It means first we basically see the value of I. After that we increment it. First we see the value of I. Here the value of I is 0. So first we see the value of I equal to 0. Okay, what here in this expression, what is the value that we see? The value that we see is 0. So because we see the value 0, so again the complete expression becomes false. Okay, the complete expression will become false. Hence this statement will not execute again. Okay, now but remember what will happen? Because this is post increment. In this post increment, what happens? Let me tell you. We see the value of I. Okay, we see the previous value of I, but after that we increment the value of I. Okay, so that is the reason it is called post increment. First we see the value, then we increment. Okay, first we see the value, then we increment. So now what will happen? Now this I value, this will become 1. So this value of I, this now it will become 1, and the value of j, it will become 1. Because j plus plus. Okay, so j is incrementing. Now again 1 is less than equal to 3. So this body of for loop, it will execute. This condition is true. 1 is greater than equal to 0. Now the value that we will see in the post increment, first we see the value, then we increment. So the value that we will see, that is 1. Okay, so that is the reason this complete expression, this if condition, this will satisfy, this will become true. So finally this statement will execute. Okay, so what it will do? Count plus j. Now what it will do? It will do count plus j. So this count plus j means this will become 1. Now, and the value of I, first we see the value, then we increment. So the value of I, that also will become 2. Okay, now the value of j, again the next iteration, the value of j will become 2, because you can see the value of j, that will become 2. 2 is less than equal to 3. So condition is satisfied. So body of for loop will execute. 2 is greater than equal to 0. so that is true. What we see here, the value of y, the previous value of y we see. First we see the value, then we increment. So the value that we see here, that is 2. Okay, so the complete if condition, the if condition that is satisfied. So again we execute this statement, count equal to count plus j. So what we do, count equal to count plus j. And remember, we increment the value of I, so that will become 3. Now in the next iteration, the value of j will become 3. In the next iteration, the value of j, that will become 3. 3 is less than equal to 3. So this is true. So again the condition of for loop, that is true. So the body of for loop will execute. You can see 3 is greater than equal to 0. So true. So this condition is true. And in this post increment, first we see the value, then we increment. So what value we see? We see the value I equal to 3. So again, this if condition, this is becoming true. So this expression will execute, count equal to count plus j. So what will happen here? It will happen 6. Okay. Then what will happen? This I, this will become 4, because first we see the value, then we increment. So this value will be incremented. And now in the next iteration, the value of j, that will become 4. Okay. In the next iteration, what will happen? The value of j will become 4. 4 is less than equal to 3. This is false. So finally this becomes false. The condition of for loop, the condition of for loop, that becomes false. So now the body of for loop will not execute, and we come out of for loop. We will come out of for loop. Finally here, what we do? We do count equal to count plus I. So what we do? Count equal to, in this variable count, we add the value I. So finally it will become 10. Okay. Next you can see, we print the value of count. So the value that we will print, that is 10. We print the value 10. Okay. So this value 10, this will be printed. So like this. So hence you can see the options. Okay. These are the options that we have. So the program will compile successfully, because we have seen there is no problem with the program. Okay. Compilation error, there will be no compilation error, and the output is basically 10. So the answer will be, the program will compile successfully and output 10 when executed. So this option D, this is a correct answer. Okay, let's solve this question. This is a GATE 2021 set 1 question from C language. Okay, consider the following C function. A function is given to us, int simple function. The name of the function is simple function, and it is taking 3 arguments. You can see, okay, it is taking 3 arguments. One is, you can see, this is some array address. Okay, so it is taking some array address as an input. This is some integer value, and this is another integer value. So 3 arguments it is taking, 3 parameters it is taking. Okay, finally what it is doing? So this program is given. Okay, you can see a simple for loop. There is a simple for loop. Now what he is saying, let Z be an array. So this Z, this is an array of 10 elements, such that each element is 1. Okay, each element is 1 from I equal to 0 to 9, because there are total 10 elements in the array. So I is from 0 to 9, and every element of this array, that is equal to 1. The value returned by simple function Z10. So what we are doing, you can see this simple function, this is taking 3 arguments. Okay, 3 arguments it is taking. So the first argument is basically some array address. Okay, the base address of some array, you can see. So we are providing the base address of array Z. This is array Z. So we are providing the base address of array Z. Next, this value 10. So n equal to 10, and you can see x equal to 2. So this is the complete program, you can see. Okay, now let's solve it. So what is the value written by simple function Z10, 2? So let's do. So simple function, let me call it SF. Okay, so SF Z10, 2. So these are the actual parameters that we are passing. These are the values that we are passing. Okay, so when we pass these values, then this y, this will store the base address of Z, and n will have value 10 and x will have value 2. So what we have here, you can see. So basically this array, okay, this array Z we have somewhere, this array Z we have, let me write it like this, somewhere, okay, we have this array Z. So let me write this array Z. Before we call this program, before we call this function, what we have this array Z, okay. This is your, this is the base address, okay. The name of array represents the base address of the array, okay. So the name of the array is Z. So this Z represents the base address of array. Now what we have, every element is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 like this. Every element is 1. And index is from 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. So total 10 elements we have. Every element is 1. Okay. And these are the indices. You can see these are the index. So these are the index. Okay. So like this. Now, when we call this function by these 3 actual parameters, then what will happen? So this value, you can see, okay, this variable y, this will hold the value, the base address of Z. So basically this y also will point to this array. Okay. So this y is also pointing to this array. I can say that y is also pointing to this array. So I can say that y is also pointing to this array. So this is y of 0, this is y of 1 like this. So I can say that, what I can say that, let me just write it. What I can say that this is basically y of 0, this is y of 1 like this, okay. And finally this is y of 9. Okay, so far so good. Now let's see. He is saying that we have a variable total which is holding the value y of 0. So we have this variable total. Okay, when we call this function, then here the variable total, this has initially this has the value y of 0. And what is the value of y of 0? Basically, what is the value, what is the element in this index 0? That is 1. So you can see initially the value of total is 1. Initially the value of total is 1. Okay. Next he is saying, so we have this loop index. Okay, this is a variable. Now finally we have a loop. So this for loop we need to execute. Okay, you can see loop index is starting from 1 and it is going. So this is the condition. Loop index is less than or equal to n minus 1 and we are incrementing. So you can see this loop index, this is going from 1 to n minus 1. Remember, n is equal to 10. Remember, because you can see n is equal to 10. I can see here. Okay, n is equal to 10. We are calling z 10, 2. So n is equal to 10 and the value of x is equal to 2. Like this you can do. Okay, value of x that is equal to 2 and the value of n that is equal to 10. Okay, so this loop, this for loop, it is executing from 1 to 9 because n is equal to 10. So from 1 to 9 it is going. Okay, in every iteration what it is doing? It is executing this statement. In every iteration it is executing this statement. Remember, this statement, this is the body of for loop. Only this statement is the body of for loop. This is body of for loop. Remember, this statement is not in the body of for loop because you can see there is this is the body, only one statement when there is no curly braces. Okay, so you can see here for this for loop there are no curly braces. So it means only this one statement is body of for loop. Okay, so this statement, this is the body of for loop. Now in every iteration we execute this statement. So let's see. Okay, let's execute it 1 or 2 times, then we will see what is the pattern. Okay, because some pattern will be there. Okay, most of the time some pattern is there. So now first we execute it. So loop index is equal to 1. So 1 is less than equal to 9. This because n is equal to 9 and n is not changing. You can see in this program the value of n is not changing. So basically this is equal to 9. Okay, n minus 1, this is equal to 9. So well, loop index equal to 1 is less than equal to 9. So the condition is satisfied. So this body of loop will execute. So what will happen after first iteration? After first iteration, so I can say here what I can say that after first iteration, okay, here I can say that after first iteration, of for loop, so what will be the value of total? So after first iteration of for loop, the value of total will be, what that will be, you can see, so value of total will be x. The value of x is fixed, that is equal to 2. So this value is also fixed, x equal to 2. X multiplied by total, so the value of total initially is 1, we have seen, okay, value of total initially, that is 1. So what will happen? 2 multiplied by 1 plus loop index value is 1. So you can say 2 multiplied by total plus y of 1, because loop index value is 1. So you can see here what I can say. I can say that 2 multiplied by the value of total plus y of 1, and y of 1 because every array element is 1. So this is, finally I can say that after first iteration the value of total will be, this is also 1, so that will be 2 plus 1, that is equal to 3. I can say this. So after first iteration the value of total will be 3. Now after second iteration what will happen? Now let's see after second iteration. Okay, so now let's see after second iteration. Okay, now after second iteration, because the value of loop index that will increment, now the value of loop index has become 2. 2 is less than equal to 9, correct? So true. So body of for loop will execute. So what will happen? Total is equal to 2 multiplied by the previous value of total plus y of 2, because now the loop index value is 2. Okay, so what I can say? I can say 2 multiplied by the previous value of total, that is 3. The previous value of total, that is 3, plus y of 2, and that is 1. So 2 multiplied by 3, 6 plus 1, that is 7. So I can say value of total will be 7. I can say value of total will be, so let me write it. Actually value of total will be like this: 2 multiplied by total plus y of 2, because the loop index has become 2, and this value is 1. So, and this value is 3, so what I can say? I can say that the value of total that will become 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1, so that is 7. So this is the value after second iteration. After second iteration of for loop, this is the value. Let's just do one more time and then we will see what is the pattern here. So like this if you do, then what you will get? Like this if you do, then what you will get? So again, if we do this, okay, then you can see loop index will become 3. Loop index plus plus, so it will become 3. 3 is less than equal to 9. So for condition is true. Condition of for loop is true. So body of for loop will execute. Now you can see the value of total will become 2 multiplied by previous value. The previous value is 7 plus y of 3. Y of 3 is 1. So I can say 2 multiplied by 7 plus 1, that is 15. So I can say that after third iteration, the value of total that will become 15. Now you can see some pattern here. Okay, what is the pattern you can see? Let me write. So the pattern is like this. After, okay, you can see after first iteration of for loop, the value of total, after first iteration of for loop, the value of total that is 3. After second iteration of for loop, the value of total is 7. After third iteration of for loop, the value of total is 15. So actually if you see, this is a pattern because this is your 2 power 2 minus 1. This is your 2 power 3 minus 1. This is your 2 power 4 minus 1, like this. Okay. So in first iteration, the value is, after first iteration, the value is 2 power 2 minus 1. After second iteration, 2 power 3 minus 1. After third iteration, 2 power 4 minus 1. So if I do like this, then after ith iteration what will happen? After ith iteration what will happen? Like if I do like this, then after ith iteration, that value will become 2 power I plus 1 minus 1. And this for loop, our for loop, if you see, that is executing 9 times, okay, from 1 to 9. So after 9th iteration what will happen? After 9th iteration, so after 9th iteration the value will be 2 power 9 plus 1 minus 1, that is 2 power 10 minus 1, and that is 1024 minus 1, and that is 1023. So this will be the value after 9th iteration, okay, after 9th iteration. And this for loop, it is running only 9 iterations, okay, from 1 to 9, only 9 times this for loop it is running. So after 9th iteration the value of total is 1023. So now the for loop has executed, okay, the for loop has completed. So we return the value of total, and the value of total, finally the value of total is 1023. So the answer will be 1023. So this is a very simple question. You can see a simple observation we can make, a simple observation we can make, okay, by just executing only was 2 or 3 times. Just execute this for loop 2 or 3 times and see what pattern is coming, okay. So you can see 3, 7, 15. So the pattern that we are getting is 2 power 2 minus 1, 2 power 3 minus 1, 2 power 4 minus 1. Okay, let me just tell you why this pattern is coming, So let me just tell you, this pattern is very simple, because you can see every time what we are doing, we are multiplying by 2 the previous value. Every time what we are doing, we are multiplying the previous value by 2, and then we are adding plus 1, because every element of array is plus 1. So what we are doing, every time we are multiplying by 2 and then we are adding plus 1. It's like this. Initially, you know, initially the value is 1. So okay, so let me write it here. You know, initially the value is 1. Then what we do? Then we multiply it by 2 plus 1. Then we multiply by 2 plus 1, because initially the value of total is 1. Initially the value of total is 1. Then we multiply by 2 and then do plus 1, that is 3. Okay, then again what we do? Again we multiply by 2, then do plus 1. So what will get? 7. Again what we do? We multiply by 2, add plus 1, that is 15. So like this if I do, again what I can do? I multiplied by 15 and add plus 1, that will be 31. So you can see, because we are every time we are multiplying by 2 and adding plus 1, okay. So this is how you can see. So this pattern is coming, okay. So the final answer will be 1023, because the for loop is executing only 9 times from 1 to n minus 1, and the value of n is 10, and the value of n is, you can see, 10, okay. So n minus 1 is 9, so from 1 to 9, and this is the answer. Answer will be 1023, okay.